Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. So in this video, we'll be exploring about ZEGOCLOUD's UI kits. So we'll be actually diving into a low code kind of solution that lets you, create a fully functional video call app with minimal coding effort, right? So we'll be trying to implement a simple video call application with a basic use case, and we'll also be exploring about two or more other use cases, such as to how exactly we're gonna implement those two use cases. So we'll be essentially using the React Native framework to implement this. So if you find this interesting, please do the like button and do subscribe for more such content, and do check out all of the required links in the description that might help you out. So as I said, we'll be implementing a simple use case of a video call application using ZEGOCLOUD's powerful features. And by the end of this tutorial, you'll be seeing how exactly it is easy to, integrate the real-time video calls into your application. And also ZEGOCLOUD, provides free 10,000 minute once you register onto their platform. So first of all, let's understand about the ZEGOCLOUD UI kits. So they essentially provide, a bunch of pre-built UI kits that make it incredibly easy to use and add in your real-time communication features like video and voice calls to your application. So with these UI kits, you can build your app faster and you can add in a ton of features as well. So essentially with these UI kits that they provide, you don't actually need to build complex features from scratch. You can think of it as a ready-made, toolbox that handles the heavy lifting for you, and you can just go ahead and then configure the UI kit and then you can build it up for your application. So some of the key features of this are, obviously one is low code integration. You'll also be seeing in the video further, that is how easily we're going to implement the video call functionality. And obviously pre-built UI components, just you need to call that particular component and automatically everything is going to get set up properly fine, and your real-time communication as well. So we're going to have crystal clear audio and low latency video for seamless one-on-one or the group calls as well. So yeah, let's actually try to, implement this simple kind of application that is right from scratch. So before that, we can head over to your ZEGOCLOUD.com. You can try to create your account. Okay, you can sign with Google. And once you create your account, they would provide you 10,000 free minutes for testing your video call app. As you can see, this is my account over here. I've logged in with Google. And once you log in, there you go over here in the builds overview. It says 3 minutes trial expires on this date, and it has provided 10,000 free minutes. So that's a really good feature. You can make use of that, and you can build different kinds of applications using this platform. So after signing in, you would be basically brought to this particular application, okay, where you can create the project. So I have created one project over here, that is a video app. You can go ahead and then create your project. We'll be doing that basically in this video itself. So let's get started with that, and then let's explore how exactly to integrate it into your particular application. So let's come back over here, and over here I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to go into my build folder and I'm going to execute this command npx at React Native CLI. At React Native Community CLI, init your project name, and I'm going to use this specific version. Let's press on enter. So it says okay to proceed. Let's press Y, enter. So this should take in, a couple of minutes to initialize a project. So let's wait for that. So as you can see, it says downloading template. Okay, now it's asking, do you want to install CocoaPods? I'm going to press on enter. So by default, the answer would be set to no. And there you go. It says your project is initialized, and these are the run instructions for Android, and these are your run instructions for iOS. Okay, so since we are on iOS, we need to do bundle install as well as bundle exec pod install. And once that is done, we need to run npx react native run iOS. So let's implement that. So I'm going to say go to file, open folder, and I'm going to go into my build folder. Okay, directly I can access over here ZEGOCLOUD, right? So this is essentially the file tree that React Native gives us once when we initialize a fresh new React Native project. So these are all of the essential files, and this is the main app.tsx. Okay, so we're going to make use of TypeScript, and here essentially I'm going to add in my compiler options. I'm going to say set the model resolution to be of no. Okay, just like this, save the file. Let's come back over here. So the first step is let's try to run the application. So as I said previously, we need to execute some steps. Let's come back to iOS. I'm going to say bundle install, enter. So let's wait for this command to execute. Yeah, so this step is done. Now I'm going to say bundle exec pod install. Let's press on enter again. So let's basically clear off this application. So this was for the previous one. We're going to build it from scratch, and let's wait for this step to complete. All right, it's generating the pods project. It's almost done. So here I'm going to do one pod install, and then I'm going to say yarn iOS, and we should be able to run this project up. So here I'm going to say new folder, new terminal. I'm going to say yarn iOS. Let's press on enter. As you can see, it opened up the launch packager command, and it should actually target the device 16 Pro, and we should be able to build the application. So there you go. Found Xcode workspace, booted the device, and then it's currently building. So this should take around, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes depending upon the network. So once it loads, we need to be seeing essentially whatever is there in the return block over here. So let's wait for a couple of minutes, and then let's continue designing the application. So there you go. The app has been loaded, which is looking fine. So essentially, as I said, whatever is there within your return block, that is gonna be shown over here. Okay. So now the next step is, let's try to initialize navigation into the system. So we are going to have essentially two screens. One is a home screen as well as your call screen. So over here, I'm going to head over to Chrome, and I'm going to search for React navigation. And let's say I'm going to go to the first link, and you can head over to getting started, and let's try to install this one, that is yarn and react navigation /native. Let's come back over here and paste that. And we also need access to your safe area context as well as React Native screens. So since we are using a React Native project, let's copy this code. And once it's installed, we're going to install these two packages. So yep, this is installed. Let's install these two. And let's come back to Hello React Navigation and then install the native stack. Yeah, let's install this, and let's create a file at the root of the folder. Let's say navigation.tsx. All right, here I'm going to say navigation.tsx. So rnfes to get the Sujan code snippet. Here I'm going to initialize my stack. I'm going to say const stack is going to be equals to create native stack navigator. So let's try to import that from the doc itself. Let's say this one. All right. So now instead of the view, first of all, I'm going to create two screens, home screen as well as a call screen. I'm going to say new file, home screen.tsx, rnfes, and then I'm going to say your call screen.tsx, again rnfes, save the file. So now let's design the navigation stack containing two screens. So we're going to make use of the stack navigator. I'm going to say stack dot your navigator. Within this, we're going to have the first screen, that's going to be the stack.screen. I'm going to say stack.screen. So this in turn is going to have the name for the screen. I'm going to say name, that's going to be equals to home, and your component. So component to render for the screen, I'm going to say home screen. So import home screen from the particular file. Furthermore, the next screen we're going to have is the call screen. I'm going to say stack.screen. Name is going to be equals to call, and your component to render is going to be equals to your call screen. So let's try to format once, and then let's try to save the file. So let's essentially try to design your home screen first, as you saw in the demo part of the video, and then once after that is designed, we're going to integrate the calling functionality. So before that, within your app.tsx, let's try to render your stack navigator. So come back to app.tsx, let's remove all of the hard-coded values or the initial boilerplate code. So here I'm going to say getting a navigation container, import that from React navigation /native, just like this, and over here we can say stack navigator. I hope stack navigator is initialized. Okay, over here we have exported your navigation. So instead of that, we can actually say stack navigator, or we can directly export navigation. Even that can be done. So here instead of this, I'm going to say navigation. So not navigation container, navigation. So we need to do a pod install since we have installed few dependencies for React navigation. Let's do that step. Here I'm going to say pod install, enter. So as you can see, it's installing RN screens as well as React Native safe area context. So once it's done, I'm going to reload my app and then restart it. Let's try to save the app.tsx. Here I'm going to say yarn iOS. So yarn iOS and then enter. Alright, let's wait for a couple of minutes for the application to load. So now this time, once the app loads, we need to be seeing your home screen, okay? Because that's the first screen in the stack, as you can see over here. So let's wait for some time and let's wait for the app to load up. So there you go, our app has been loaded and we're able to see the initial screen. As I said, that's the home screen. So actually we do not want to show the header for each of the screens. So here I'm going to pass in my screen options. I'm going to say screen options is essentially going to be header shown, and I'm going to set it to be false. Save. As you can see, that's looking good. So now let's quickly, finish designing the home screen. So for this, we're going to make use of a dependency that is React Native linear gradient. I'm going to say yarn add React Native linear gradient. Let's install this. And let's come back to your home screen and let's try to render this over here. I'm going to say linear gradient, import that, and this in turn is going to have in your colors. I'm going to say colors. We're going to pass in an array of colors just like this. The first one is going to be hashtag 4A90E2. Then apart from that, we're going to have 50C and 9C3. Alright, let's pass on the style for this. So here I'm going to say style. It's going to be equals to styles.container, and apart from that I'm going to say start. Here I'm going to say x 0 as well as y also 0. Okay, and I'm going to say end. Here I'm going to say x1 and y also 1. So format once. So here, we need to do a pod install once again. So I'm going to say pod install. So within the linear gradient, I'm going to have my safe area view. So I'm going to say safe area view, import safe area view from React Native. Here we're going to have the image being shown. So let's try to import image from React Native. Okay, and you can basically get this image from the original website itself. Just copy down the logo from there. And let's try to format once. Below the image, I'm going to have two pieces of texts. So the first one is going to say video call app. And below that, I'm going to say text. I'm going to say connect with friends and family in real time with crystal clear video calls. Okay. So here let's pass on the class name. Not class name, style. So I'm going to say style is going to be equals to your styles.title. Here again I'm going to say style is going to be equals to styles.subtitle. And we're going to have basically your call button. So that's the design for the home screen. Pretty simple. So have in your pressable. Here take in a text. Within this text, I'm going to say start video call, pass on the class name for the pressable or the style. So style is going to be equals to styles dot your call button, or let's pass in a conditional styling just like this. So take in the pressed value, and this is going to be the default styling, that's styles dot call button. And for your opacity, if it's pressed, then it's going to be 0.7, else it's going to be 1. For the transform scale, if it's pressed, it's going to be 0.95, else it's going to be 1. Let's try to clear off the app and then reload from the starting point. Save. I'm going to say pod install. I think pod install is done, I guess. Yep, so there you go. The linear gradient is installed. Let's do yarn iOS over here. And let's try to again start off the application. So there you go, it's currently loading. And boom, just like that, it's looking fine. We just need to style it out so it looks even more better, as you saw in the demo part of the video. So here I'm going to say container. I'm going to give it a flex of 1 so it takes the full space, just like that. It's looking fine. Then your safe area, I don't think we have given the style for that. It's going to be styles.safe area. So style is going to be equals to styles.safe area. So here I'm going to say safe area. Here I'm going to say essentially again flex of 1. Furthermore, for your content, we're going to say, flex 1. Then justify content of center, align items of center as well as padding horizontal of 20. Alright, let's provide the content to the view that is above the image. Okay, I think I forgot to add the view for that. So taking a view over here. So within that view, we're going to have essentially all of the design. So copy down all of the required things, the view, the image, and all of this design. So copy that down, paste it over here, and your class name is going to be equals to, not class name, style, your styles.content. As you can see, that's looking good. The next thing is for your logo. Let's provide the style for that. That is the width and height. Here we're going to say logo. It's going to have a width of, let's say, 120 as well as a height of 120 and your margin bottom of 20. Okay, so just like that, it's looking pretty clean. This part is done, and I'm going to say title over here. So for your title, I'm going to say font size, it's going to be, let's say, 32, and I'm going to say font weight, that's going to be bold. Then color is going to be equals to FFF. Some margin bottom value of, let's say, 10. Text align of center, and I'm going to add in the shadow designs over here. Save. As you can see, that's looking nice. So apart from that, the next thing is for the subtitle. So here I'm going to say font size 16. Color is going to be F0, F0, F0. Margin bottom of, let's say, 40. Text align of center, and line height is going to be 22, and some padding horizontal. So I'm going to say padding horizontal of 10. Okay, as you can see, that design is looking neat. So apart from that, the final one is for the call button. So I'm going to say call button over here. Here it's going to have a BG of white, so FFF. Some padding vertical of 15, padding horizontal as well of 50, then a slide border radius of 25, elevation of 5, then your shadow color of 000, shadow offset within an object, width of 0, height of 3. So I'm going to say height 3, safe. So as you can see, that's looking nice. And then the shadow radius. So I'm going to say shadow radius of 5. And the final one is for your button text. I'm going to add it over here. So let's try to format once and let's try to save. As you can see, just like that, it's looking pretty clean. So now the next step is let's head back to ZEGOCLOUD over here. And then let's try to create a new project. So essentially, once you create a project, they'll be giving you two things. That is the app ID as well as the app sign. So app ID is going to be a unique number and your app sign is going to be a long string on the project dashboard. So we would be using both of these to, integrate the video call functionality. So yep, let's try to press on create your project. And I'm going to say, as of now, we are going to implement the voice and video call. Choose the first option. So as you can see, apart from voice and video calling, there are a bunch of other features as well. That is video conference, live streaming, your live audio room, your one-on-one tutoring, and then in-app chat applications, game streaming, and so on. So as of now, in this video, we're going to explore about the video as well as the voice feature. So let's press on next over here. You can pass in your project name. I'm going to say video call app, something like this. You can pass in any name you want to add. Okay, so they've given two ways to get started. Your UI kits, so you can embed interactive scenarios with less than 10 lines of code. That's what we're going to do. And as you can see over here, they've given a bunch of options, that is Android, iOS, React Native. You're going to use this one, that is your Zego UI kit pre-built call. So you can just use this component and then automatically everything is going to work properly fine. Okay, and apart from that, the second option is the SDK, so you can empower your interactive applications with a lower level SDKs, right? So these are the two ways to get started. So I've pressed on, so I've basically entered my project name. I'm going to choose the start with UI kits. Okay, so it's going to take some time to load, and there you go, it says video call app creating, and once this creates, we should be taken back to the dashboard and we'll configure the required things. Okay, so there you go, it says app project created. I'm going to say start building your app. Automatically it navigated, which is good. In our option, in our case, we're going to choose for React Native. Choose that option, and there you go, it says build your app for React Native and quickly add ZEGOCLOUD UI kits to your application. So in this case, we're going to implement the one-on-call feature functionality. Okay, so you can just scroll down and then you can see the button which says save and start to integrate. Press on that button. So there you go, once you come back to the screen, it's going to show you all of the quick start details, right? So here you have two details, that is the app ID as well as the app sign. So these two values are required for integrating the video call functionality. So make sure you note these two down. This is required while coding. Okay, I'm going to press on quick start. This should essentially take you to a new tab. They also have a video. And now let's try to integrate the SDK. So the first step is let's try to install this. Copy that code, come back over here. I'm going to just press on yarn add that particular pre-built UI package. So now once that is done, we need to install some other dependencies as they've shown over here. So it says run the following command to install other dependencies for making sure this package can work properly fine. So just copy this down and come back over here. Let's try to install these dependencies. Okay, so once that is done, let's check out the next step. So using the ZEGOCLOUD pre-built UI component in your project, we can go into the ZEGOCLOUD admin console, get in the app ID and app sign. I've already shown you this part. Specify the user ID as well as the username. You can pass in any default values for that, and we can create a call ID that represents the call you want to make, right? So this is basically the call page.js. In our case, we're going to create the call screen.tsx. Okay. So as you can see, user ID can be something like a phone number or the user ID or your own user system, and call ID can be any random unique string. So here within the config, since we are doing a one-on-call feature, we are going to pass in one-on-one video call config, and that is going to come from the package that we just installed. And we're going to pass in the on-call end feature, which is going to trigger off once when we end the call from that particular video session. So let's try to implement this. Yeah, so it is installed, I guess. Let's do a pod install over here. So I'm going to say pod install. So this should take in a couple of minutes to install all of the required things. Let's wait for that. Alright, so now I'm going to install one more dependency that I installed previously while building up the project because it was not working for some reason. So I'm going to say yarn add, make sure you install ZEGOZim React Native, and then enter. So once this is also done, we need to do a pod install. Probably this is going to take in some time, I hope. Let's press on enter. So while this is being implemented, as you can see, it's installing both the values. Let's try to come back to your app.tsx, not app.tsx, home screen.tsx, or we can actually start designing the call screen and we can later implement the navigation part. So let's come back to call screen.tsx, and here essentially let's try to initialize a safe area view. I'm going to say safe area view, import that from React Native, pass in your style. I'm going to say a flex of 1, and here I'm going to pass in the view. I'm going to say style is going to be equals to your styles dot container, right? Within that, I'm going to have my component being rendered, that is whatever we saw in the doc, it's going to be the exact same thing. I'm going to say Zego UI kit pre-built UI call or pre-built call. Okay, just like this. I'm going to have a self-enclosing component over here. Let's try to auto import. So I'm going to import it directly at the top, just like this. Okay, so let's try to reload the app and let's check it out. I'm going to say quit terminal, save this file, and I'm going to say yarn iOS, and we can continue writing the code. So here I'm going to have in my config for now, or you can have in a .env file, and then you can add in your both the details. I'm going to say config is going to be equals to your app ID, that is over here. I'm going to say app ID is going to be equals to whatever is there over there, and here I'm going to say app sign, again a colon. Okay, I'll be entering this once I complete writing the code over here. So here I'm going to say app ID is going to be equals to your config dot your app ID. Furthermore, your app sign, that's going to be equals to your config dot your app sign. Then we need access to the user ID. I'm going to enter a default string that is just like this, and username, I'm going to enter my name over here. Furthermore, I'm going to enter the call ID. So as we saw in the documentation, this is going to be a unique string, just like this. Okay, then you need to pass in the config, that's compulsory. So config over here. So since we're using a one-on-one video call, we need to pass on that. So one-on-one video call config. I'm going to say on call end what needs to be done. So on call end, this in turn is going to take in a callback, call ID, your reason, as well as your duration. Here I'm just going to say navigation dot go back as of now. We just need to cut the call, and then we need to come back to the previous screen, that's the home screen. Let's initialize navigation. I'm going to say const navigation is going to be equals to your use navigation. Okay, so here I'm going to say navigation dot go back. Let's try to define the style for your container over here. So container, it's going to have a flex of 1, align items of center, justify content of center as well, and a z index of 0. Okay, let's give a format once, and let's try to save the file. Okay, so this part is done. So now the next step is, let's try to add in the app ID as well as app sign. Alright, so I've just added in my app ID as well as my app sign. So now the next step is we need to navigate. So let's come back to home screen, initialize navigation. Once you press on this, directly say navigation or navigate to the call screen. So navigation is initialized, no, but it's not. So here I'm going to say const navigation is going to be equals to use navigation. Import use navigation from React Native as such, and over here once you press on the pressable on press, take in a function. Here we're going to say navigation dot navigate to the name of the screen, navigate to the call screen, save. Okay, my bad, again it got imported, that is use navigation state. We just need use navigation, import that and then save. Okay, so now if at all you've done everything correctly, once you press on start video call, automatically a video call should be started, and we go into that screen, and since we have given this style, a full screen video call should be present. And of course in the simulator it won't work. I've already tried it on my own phone. Connect your own phone and it should be working fine. You can actually turn off your video, audio, as well as other things as well. So let's look into that. I'm going to press on start video call, and boom, just like that we come back to your call screen and the time has been started. So in the simulator it wouldn't work, right? You can try it out on your own phone. Make sure to connect this project onto your own phone. If you're on the iOS, open up Xcode, connect your iPhone, and then try to build it up. Once it builds, again press on start call, and you should be able to see yourself basically once the call is started. And once you press on end over here, you should automatically be navigated. So once you press on video, it should off, and this is the audio. Okay, just like this. Let's press on end call. You're going to end the call over here. So this is one use case that which you can implement in your applications. So the other use case which we can try is obviously your group calls, that is many people can join. Okay, so let's see how exactly we can implement that. So it's going to be just one small change. Instead of using the config, that is one-on-one video call config, we need to change it to group video call config. So let's see how exactly we're going to implement that in this particular application. So let's say over here, I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to take in one more thing, that is your group call group underscore video underscore call underscore your config, right? So we just need to make one change within the config part. Let's come back over here, or let's also, track in the call ID, username, as well as the user ID. Yeah, so just make this change, import this one, and we anyhow have the access to all of these details, that is user ID, username, as well as the call ID. We just need to make the change for the config. Here in this case, I'm going to say spread it, and I'm going to say group video call config, and I'm going to say again on call end navigation dot go back, and I'm going to also have in the layout, we can pass that as well. So I'm going to say layout mode, take an object, which in turn is going to take in the mode, that's going to be grid. So in this way, we can display all the participants in a grid kind of layout. Apart from this, I'm going to say audio video config. I'm going to say audio video view config. So here I'm going to say a prop that is show sound waves in audio mode. So show sound waves in audio mode, that's going to be true. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. Let's try to save the file. Okay, it says unexpected token. All right. Yeah, we didn't add a comma over here. All right, so now if the call is different, we need to be entering a group call that is using the Zego UIKit pre-built call. Let's press on start video call. And boom, just like that, it's working fine. So we have entered into basically a group call, and you can see your name over here, and the mic is on. You can off it. It's going to get turned off over here. Similar options as we saw in a one-on-one call. That is, all of these icons are going to remain as is. Okay. So as you can see, once you turn off the video, your name is going to be shown, that is SA. Okay, in a short form, just as you see in other platforms like Google Meet, Zoom video call, something like that. Okay. So you can turn on the video. And in the IO simulator, it wouldn't work. You should try it out on your own phone. And once you press on the participants, you should be able to see all of the participants list over here. Okay. So as of now, I'm the only participant. So it's only showing my name and it shows you over here. Okay. So yeah, that's how you're going to implement this. Once you press on end, it should end the call over here. Right. So these are some of the use cases that you can implement in your application. You can basically try to create a project, get in that 10,000 free minutes, and you can try to build different projects by using the Zego UI pre-built call. So another use case which you can implement is, let's say you're building a dating app. So you can focus on one-to-one video calls with some design features like call initiation from a user profile or a match screen. And we can basically implement your one-on-one video call config over there. So that's another use case which you can try, and you can implement that into your application. So yes, that's it about this video. So hope you learned about how to integrate ZEGOCLOUD, and hope you learned about how easy it is to, integrate the video call functionality to your React Native application. And you can work on different use cases as well. And you can check out all of the important links in the description that might help you out. So yes, that's it about this video. So let's see you in the next video, and then thank you for watching.